Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Skate Gnarly, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Security Plus. If you don't know what Security Plus is, it is a certification through CompTIA, and it basically deals, in a nutshell, with cybersecurity in like the workplace, in like business environments, or something in that whole general world. Now, with my job, Cyber Systems Operations, which is AFSC 3D0X2 or 3D032, which is what I am because I'm a 3 level, we have to have the Security Plus certification. And it is a certification that we get at tech school at Keesler. A lot of other jobs at Keesler get this certification, whether you're client systems, cybersecurity, cyber ops, which is what I am. There's another one, you have to have it to be a programmer as well, I believe. And then ethical hackers, I'm not sure what the code is. It's like a 1B4 or something like that. They also, I believe, need Security Plus. What's the other one? Cyber transport also needs Security Plus. And I don't think RF trans needs it. I'm not sure, but it is a whole another type of like cyber job, I believe, at Keesler. But it is a pretty big obstacle at tech school for people. I don't know what the passing rate is in the civilian world, okay? But at tech school, in the 336 training squadron where I was, for jobs like client system, cyber ops, cybersecurity, it was like constantly fluctuating week by week between 50% pass rate, 70% pass rate. My class, we got like an 80% pass rate, which was awesome. But like it's usually somewhere between about 60 and 70, maybe high 70s if you're lucky. But a lot of people fail Sec Plus, and it's a pretty difficult test. Now, there are some people out there who are like obsessed with IT and stuff like that, and they're constantly just like, oh, you know, Sec Plus is easy, CompTIA tests are easy, and I guess that is true, because there are a bunch of other tests out there that are IT related that are way harder. But for somebody with no IT experience, which is majority of the training squadron, we are all sort of new to this, I guess. A lot of people didn't even want this job, they just kind of ended up with it in the Air Force. So it just kind of fluctuates, or a lot of people ended up with cyber jobs in general, not just this job specifically. So it just kind of fluctuates with how it all sort of works out based on from person to person. But for me, and obviously with a 50% pass rate sometimes, a lot of people probably think this test is a little bit hard. But luckily, when you fail the first time, let me go over this really quick, like really fast rundown of this. You have one opportunity to take the test, you know, just free, I guess. You know, like you could just take the test. Like everything will be fine. It's just part of the course. You take the test, you pass it, woo, you go home, okay? If you fail, it's still free, but you have to wait to get into another Security Plus class. So you have your normal tech school for your job, right? However many weeks it is, however many blocks it is, they're called blocks. After you finish the blocks, if you need the Security Plus certification to graduate, you go into a 2-week course which teaches you everything you need to know about Security Plus, gives you tons of resources, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, it's basically 2 weeks, it's like 10 days or something like that, you take the test. If you fail, you have to wait to be placed into another class, take the 2-week course again, then retest. Or, this is if you get lucky, if you score high enough, you can talk to your some sort of supervisor that's over there, right? And basically you just say like, hey, you need a 750 to pass, 750 or higher to pass the cert test. It's anywhere between 100 and 900. So if you get like 500, there's a pretty good chance. If you get like 300, 500, there's a pretty good chance they're not gonna let you test again anyways, and you're just gonna go get another job, because why would they invest the money into giving you another test when you scored so low initially and you had so much time to study? Now, let's say you do fail. But you got a high score, like a 730, and you were so close to passing. A 730 to a 750 is like 1 to 2 questions missing, okay? Like you barely missed it. If that is the case and you have a really good, what are they called, man? I'm really blanking right now. They're like supervisors of the whole entire like floor, of all of like the Sec Plus floor, and every kind of floor has one. Anyways, whatever. I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm sure it'll be in the comments somewhere. But basically, you can ask them to retest. You have to get a money order with the amount of money that it would cost to take the test, which is about $320, I think, or something like that, $300. And you get a money order, so you have to pay for it yourself. But if you pass, you get the money back. If you fail, they keep the money and pay for the test. If you fail again, basically, you have to do the same thing. You can either do the same thing, you can pay for it, or you can wait for the 2-week course. Now, here's the sketchy part. If you fail 2 times and you suck, they're probably either gonna, 1, give you a new job, or if you're just a bad airman in general and you have a very terrible record and you keep failing, they might just kick you out of the Air Force. So it is still a weeding out process. Your first 6 months in the Air Force, through BMT, through technical training, it's still a weeding out process, and they will try to kick you out if it comes down to that. They want to keep you in, but if it's looking, better to just get rid of you, then that's probably what they're gonna do. So just kind of keep that in mind. Stay focused, stay motivated to get through this test. Now, I'm gonna run down how I studied for this test. It's different for everybody. Everybody's different and understands things in different sorts of ways and learns things tons of different ways. So there are tons of resources for this test though, tons. I used pretty much everything imaginable. Now, if you don't know anything about Sec Plus, you're not probably gonna understand anything that I'm about to say with the materials that I use, because you're gonna be like, what is that? What are these things? But if you're already at Keesler, you've probably heard them around a little bit. And if you are at Keesler right now, I really urge you to start studying as fast as you can, just because this test is no joke. And once you make it to the end of tech school, you're gonna be like, wow, I really wanna go home right now. And now this is for all the people who aren't in the Air Force yet. If you are going and you have, or you wanna get a cyber job, or you wanna follow some sort of IT path in your entire life, you just want a career there, it's a smart idea to get Security Plus before you join the Air Force. Because if you get a job like mine, or like cybersecurity or client systems, if you already have the certification going into the Air Force or into tech school, you don't have to stay that extra 2 or 3 weeks at tech school. And that 2 or 3 weeks makes up a huge amount of time. One of my friends came in with Sec Plus and he dipped. Tech school is easy. At least my tech school is easy. It's all in the book. Air Force block tests are all in the books. All the answers are there. All you have to do is make note cards, memorize some stuff, you're good to go. But Sec Plus is completely different. So if you can get through tech school memorizing stuff on note cards, and then once you're done with that, you're just leaving and going home, it's amazing. So it really just eliminates a huge portion of stress from your life doing it that way. Also, I mean, on the other hand, the test is like $300 and you have to know what you're doing to be able to pass the test. But I literally knew, I built my own PC. I know the whole physical world of PCs and computers and computing in general. And I know some about security, but I knew nothing about Security Plus or, encryption, cryptography, all that sort of stuff. So I had to learn all of that, and I did it in about a month or two because I studied for about a month or two, and I still passed the test. So you don't have to be super crazy, wizard on everything, but I mean, it does take some time, and it's a lot easier to study on your own time than on the Air Force's time, so to speak. So now they recommend that you read a book before you get to that 2-week course that I'm talking about. So I read the McGraw-Hill book about Sec Plus, and then when I was done, I took tons of practice tests all the way through. I took practice tests on practice tests on practice tests. While I was reading, I'd read a chapter, take practice tests, read a chapter, take practice tests, read a chapter, take practice tests, and I would use Measure Up, I would use the McGraw-Hill questions, I would use GCGA, which is Get Certified, Get Ahead, which is another amazing study tool. It basically is one web page completely dedicated to everything Sec Plus related. Everything. Sorry, I had to take care of my dogs. But if it is any sort of way related to Sec Plus, it's gonna be on GCGA. And it's literally a whole web page just with practice tests and information about everything. It's so hard to explain. There's a book called Get Certified, Get Ahead, which is a study guide for Sec Plus. The website basically covers everything that the book covers, and it has tons of practice tests for everything. Performance-based questions. It has flashcards on the website. Just regular test questions, tons of different things, and it's pretty much people will use just that website and pass the test. So I mean, if you want to be risky like that, you can try. I wouldn't recommend doing that though, but people have done it before. But there are a lot of performance-based questions on GCGA that are also pretty similar to the ones on the Security Plus exam. Content-wise, they're extremely similar. Because I mean, there's only so much they can do with performance-based questions anyways. But yeah, so another thing that I used was MeasureUp. A lot of people don't really recommend MeasureUp is because it's really hard. It's like a super hard test. I would take it while I was reading and just be like, I don't know. I'm going to fail. I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. So I wouldn't really recommend using MeasureUp, but it did help me nail in some of the, fine details back before I actually took the test, like right before, like when I was done studying and more reviewing. So they did help out a lot there. But mainly what I did was I would read the book. I read the whole book. I highlighted everything that I thought was important. I took tons of practice questions and tons of practice tests and stuff like that and would score myself. But the one thing is that you can't go off of those test scores, right, on the practice questions, because it's not about that. It's not about being comfortable and being like, oh, I can score an 80 every time. Like, it's not like that at all. You need to be able to get through the test, understand what you're reading, understand why it's right, understand why it's wrong, and the fine details about it, and that's it. The test questions, the percentages, none of that matters. If you can answer the question right because you know exactly what the question means, what the question is asking, you'll be fine. The test itself, Sec Plus, it's more of like problem solving rather than the actual content. So you have to know a pretty good amount about the content to be able to solve the problems, because it's not as simple as like, okay, here's an encryption question and then a bunch of stuff about network security with one answer that is related to encryption. Like, it's not that simple. It's, okay, here's an encryption question and all of these answers could be right. Which one is the best answer? And you're like, I don't know, because I know nothing about that certain type of encryption. So it really just comes down to, you need to have some sort of understanding. And however you do that the best for yourself, I guess, because everyone learns differently, that's just the best way you're gonna do it. So, whether you're using Professor Messer, because I use tons of Professor Messer to really just nail it in there. He basically goes through a bunch of slides, and they're like quick 2 to 7 minute videos. I know it's a pretty big range, but some of them are really short, some of them are really long. And he goes over really in depth about key stuff that you need to know about certain types of encryption, certain types of hashing, certain types of network security, what those types of network security do, just all sorts of different things that kind of, they're just really quick ways to remember stuff like, oh, I know this, and this about that. Because you don't have to get super in depth. You just have to know, like, this is better than this and this is why. You don't have to be able to write a freaking 5-page essay about it. So besides that, CBT Nuggets are also used a lot around there, but I don't really like it. His voice is really annoying. Kind of has like a really, nerdy voice. It's just like, it's really hard to just constantly like listen to. And his videos are basically an hour long of him drawing on like a PowerPoint presentation, and the drawings get really crazy and like everywhere, and you'll have like a sort of like network set up, and then he'll draw just squiggly lines everywhere, and like, oh, this means one thing, and this means one thing, and this means one thing. So it's just kind of crazy. But I mean, besides that, it's really what you do best. Like, okay, I can watch these videos, take a practice test. If I don't get something right, I can go read the book, figure out what I got wrong, why I got it wrong, go retake the test. It's just, you have to kind of figure out your own way of doing it. And I would definitely recommend reading the book before you actually go and start the 2-week course, because it did help me out a lot. And even if you read the book and at the end of the book you're like, I still don't understand anything, it's fine, because it's like all in there anyways, whether you know it or not. You're gonna have some sort of understanding of like, oh, I've heard this before, like I kind of get this, and it just kind of really helps build that foundation that you need. So I don't want to make this video too long about Security Plus, because I know some of my viewers, like, you guys are going to be like, I don't care about Security Plus, what is this? But if you are cyber systems operations, cyber surety, client systems, cyber transport, any of these jobs, you really need to know what you're getting into and how to accomplish this, because a lot of people will go into tech school like, yeah, the Air Force is awesome, I love my job, tech school's been great, and then they get to Sec Plus and they fail 3 times and they get another job and they end up standing at a gate scanning CAT cards for the rest of their lives. I'm just kidding, that's not actually what happens. I love security forces, but they end up with a job they didn't want to do, like a medical job, or like security forces. Some people don't want to be a cop, so it just really depends on your future, and it's all in your hands at that point. So Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's been a minute since I uploaded. I mean, it's kind of on like a weekly basis, but this one kind of took a little bit longer to do. So don't forget to leave your ship dates and all that stuff down below. If you wouldn't mind taking like 1.2 seconds out of your day, leave this video a like rating. That'd be awesome. I get a lot of likes on my videos, and it means a lot. I try to keep my videos, pretty PG, I guess, just because a lot of the videos will, at least lately with YouTube's new thing, they'll be like, oh, not suitable for monetization, and then like a couple days later it'll go away. So I'm like, my videos are like super PG. So I'm also gonna try to make them a little bit more PG because I know I do cuss sometimes. So I mean, if it is a problem for you, I'm sorry that I have done it in the past, but I do want to kind of like start blocking those out and stuff like that. So if you have heard it, don't be confused there. So anyways, I don't want to ramble. I hate doing that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and peace out.